Hi, and welcome to another edition of Strikers Best Bets. Here, exciting racing on Saturday. We got the second leg of the Triple Crown and the Triple Tiara at Turfentine. It's Classic Day. It's a huge card where some of the best horses in the country are running. We've got Hazy Daisy, Split the Eights. Okay, looking to repeat on Guinea's Day. So yeah, so I think it's going to be a great day's racing.
Yeah, don't forget, these are young horses that are going to be our future runners in the future, obviously. So you want to keep an eye on this race meeting to see which type of horses are going to run. I'm going to say in the July, in the Met, and that type of race. I think punters must just realise this is recorded on Thursday, and there's been quite a bit of rain around. So horses that will like the sticky ground should be favoured, and down the straight, horses that are drawn on the outside has to have an advantage. It's just the outside is higher than the inside, so horses, the water naturally drains towards the inside, which means it dries quicker on the outside. It's just simple common sense, and you can see the results from the past.
Now, so two things. I'm actually in the south of Johannesburg today. Okay, that's where I'm doing the podcast from. And it is raining now as we speak. It's not a heavy rain as I look outside the window, but it is raining. I don't know if more rain is forecast for later on in the week. And Turfentine has been known to drain well. Okay, their drainage system is quite good. So let's have a look and let's see. But let the punters take your advice. Okay, that's why. Okay, you're the man, because you know that track backwards. And if it's a little bit on the soft side, then take Pierre's advice. Again, look to horses drawn on the outside down the straight. Pierre, should we crack right on? We obviously doing as we normally do. We're doing Bipot, PA, and Pick Six. So we're going to start in the second race, where they are betting 17-10, number 5, Cool Gambler, 3-1, number 11, Green and Gold. Okay, these are two first timers, one from the Mark de Kock yard and one from Sean Terry's yard. 5-1, horse called Highwayman Harry, number 1. 7-1, number 8, Green Machine. That's drifted from 9-2 to 7-1. 9-1, Dante's Bond, and 12s and better the rest.
Yeah, so the way I'm going to structure my bar pot, I'm going to put a raced horse with experience and form. So I'm going to include the one, Highwayman Harry. I know he's drawn towards the inside, drawn 2, which is not great. But with experience and natural speed, he could overcome his draw fairly quickly. Then I'm going to include either one of Mark de Kock's horses, the unraced horse, or the Sean Terry unraced horse. I'm gonna and I'm gonna lean towards Mark de Kock's horses this time round. Why? Because the companion number 8, Green Machine, has got some decent form. He's coming back over distance and he's coming back from a break. But the fact that Green Machine is drifting out and money is coming for the companion number 5, Cool Gambler, I think Cool Gambler obviously is showing good work at home. And so I'm going to lean towards a Mark de Kock horse number 5 instead of the Sean Terry horse number 11.
Yeah, you know this horse. I actually backed this horse last time. This horse Highwayman Harry, and I think he came out a touch slow on that occasion. He was backed on the day. He looked an absolute picture going down. My only concern, as you say, is the draw. This horse Green Machine is obviously coming off a long break since the 11th of October. And as you intimated, okay, the form lines are strong. There's been 2 winners from 9 runners out of the 6 of all form line. So for me, the two horses, okay, that don't have to be too good to beat, okay, this field is Cool Gambler and that horse of Sean Terry's Green and Gold. Okay, Pierre, we move on to race 3, first leg of the PA. I think it's going to be a healthy pool on Saturday, so the guys must get involved. They're betting 5 to 10, number 3, World Attraction. 3 to 1, number 1, Give Me a Vodka. 5 to 1, number 4, Volcanic Heat. 10 to 1, number 2, Spirit of Gabs. And 25 to 1 and better.
Well, this is a small field, so you've got to find a banker, otherwise you just maybe wasting money. Number 4, Volcanic Heat, 2 runs, 2 wins. How can a person go against it? But in saying that, how can you go against number 3, World Attraction? There's been no winners out of the one run for 1 win. So it's not a strong field. But the horse won by 7.3 lengths. What more must horse do? Must it win by 20 lengths? So I think the 3 World Attraction is going to be our banker. Probably more scope for improvements. Only had 1 run. And even those drawn 2, only 6 runners, it's already on the outside. So the draw should be of no worry. Banker number 3, World Attraction.
Yeah, exactly what you say. I agree with that form line doesn't look so great. There's been no winners out of the form line, whereas Volcanic Heat, that last run where she beat Griselda, that form line, there's been 2 winners out of 3 runners. But you're right, it's a small field. We got to go light somewhere. And this is obviously the right horse in the race. If I were to include another horse, I would include this horse, Volcanic Heat. Okay, we move on to the 4th race, first leg of the Pick 6. Is there going to be a carryover? They don't say so in the front of the book, so we don't know. But I think it's going to be a healthy Pick 6 pool on the day because there are Group 1 races on the day. There are 3 Group 1 races on the day, as a matter of fact. Here they're betting 5 to 2, number 2, Griselda. We've just spoken about her. 33 to 10, number 7, Lanzarote. 7 to 2, number 4, Secretary Bird. 9 to 2, number 9, Stagger Wing. 7 to 1, number 1, Custodian. And 10 to 1 and bar the rest.
Yeah, I think, you've got to include a couple because the form lines are very close to one another, Griselda and Secretary Bird. But then you also have the horses that are maidens that brings them right into the race, like number 7, Lanzarote, and number 9, Stagger Wing. I suggest putting at least 2 horses in, and maybe even a third horse, as these are young 2-year-old fillies. You don't know who's going to improve the most. I'm actually going to go my 2 selections, my 2 horses I'm going to favor above the others is number 7, Lanzarote, just because it's getting 3 kilograms on the form of the other horses, and even number 9, Stagger Wing, also a maiden, getting 3 kilograms advantage. So I'm going to go with a 7 and a 9, but then if you want to, then go and choose either Griselda or Secretary Bird.
Okay, I've got a bit of a roughie here for our viewers, for our punters. This horse, Custodian, I know that everything wasn't right with this horse last time. This horse is a proper racehorse. I know that the stable think the world of her. Please disregard that last run. She's got the draw. She's down the straight. She's a huge runner, Pierre. So in my bar pot, I'm putting in 4 horses. I'm putting in Custodian, Griselda, Lanzarote, and I'm going to include Secretary Bird, purely the fact that Geraint Munger now knows her. He won on her last time, and she must be a huge runner. But for me, I'm going for Custodian on the day. Okay, here we move on to race 5, if I can get there. I don't know what I've done yet. Just give me 1 second. Perfecto. Race 5, they are betting. This is a very, very open race. They're betting 11-2, number 6, Gerbera. 6-1, number 2, Willie Meet Again. 6-1, number 9, Warm Reception. 13-2, number 10, Accept Cookies. 7-1, number 1, Kishoten. 8-1, number 7, Bakwena. And 10-1, number 8, Care Forgot. 12-1, and better the rest. Very, very open, Pierre.
Yeah, very open. But in saying that, this is not a handicap, it's set weights. So the best weighted horse is number 2, Willie Meet Again. So she has to go in. I would have included number 1, Kisoten, but drawn 12. You need luck from a draw. I'd rather go for something drawn a bit better to get the run of the race. And then also, if the track is wet, already a bad draw is not good. But if a track is wet, the inside near the rail is higher than the outside, and the outside, the horses have to still run up to get to the inside. Also, it'll be softer, slightly softer there. So if you don't overcome your draw quickly, it'll at least take away a length or 2 on your form. So for that reason, I'm going to include number 3, who I think is quite a bit of value. She is third best rated horse, or joint second best rated horse in the race after Willie Meet Again. And she's drawn 1. She won against Strong Company last time. At her price, I think it's a bit of value. And then maybe include the favorite number 6, just because last time she had some issues at the gates. She also got caught wide. I think she's the type of filly that can improve more on the form. But if you want to, you can even add another horse, a horse of your liking, because this is a competitive little race.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just think that out of Sean Terry's 2, Gerbera and Care Forgot, I would think that Craig Zaki would have had the choice of rides. He rode Care Forgot last time. The filly won and won well. She's won in the wet. If it's going to be wet, where Gerbera has had 3 cracks at the wet, and she's yet to find a place. But in saying that, Craig Zaki's gone for Gerbera ahead of Care Forgot. I found an absolute loon in the race. And the only reason why I'm going to tip her to run a great race is because of the weight that she's carrying. This horse, Women's World, at 16-1. I think she's going to run an absolute crack off that weight. She's got the 7 draw. She's a 4-time winner. There's been winners out the last form line. So in saying that I fancy her, I would include her in bipots and pick sixes. I think that she's going to run a great race. But also, I mean, Sean Terry's got that horse Warning Sound in the race. With the lady rider up Michelle, of that weight of 52, where she's drawn 6. She loves the course and distance. She must be a runner. The only downside is that she's had 2 cracks in the wet, and she's yet to find a place. But in saying that, I think this is a terrible race, and whoever can afford to put Field in the pick 6, okay, that is my suggestion. Okay, we now move on to the Group 1s of the day, Pierre. The Wilgebos SA Fillies Classic, a grade 1, where they are betting 14 to 10, number 1, Hazy Daisy, 3 to 1, number 3, Charge It, 9 to 2, number 2, Golden Palm, 8 to 1. This horse has been backed in from 10 to 1 to 8 to 1, Little Miss Million, from 10 to 1 to 9 to 1, number 7, Drumdrochet, and they are betting 14 to 1 bar these.
Yeah, on form, there's only one horse that can actually win this race, and that's number 1, Hazy Daisy. I would think she's a banker. I mean, if the second horse is Charge It, number 3, and they've met twice, and she's been beaten twice comfortably, then Hazy Daisy has to be the horse to beat. Sorry, a weird thing to say quickly. Hazy Daisy wins three races in a row. I tip her to win. I think I make her a good thing. She runs 5th, not even a place. And then she wins the next 2 races, including a feature. How does that work? No, I don't understand it sometimes. Golden Palm, I know we're writing her off very quickly. I mean, I think she's got some value, but she was beaten last time by Hazy Daisy, drawn 1. Now Hazy Daisy, she was drawn 12, now drawn 4. You know, Hazy Daisy's got a lot more in her favor than Golden Palm. Will Golden Palm go the extra 200? I don't know. Has Golden Palm gone back to PE and come back to Joburg, traveling for a young filly? I don't know what happened. So, in all, Hazy Daisy would be my banker. Others to consider would maybe be Little Miss Million. Money's come from her. Unfortunately, drawn a bit bad again. And Drumdrochet, number 7, drawn better. Also had a shocking draw last time. Those 2 came from far behind last time because of bad draws. And they were both beaten over 4 lengths. But if they can get better position this time, they could come into the play. But I'm banking number 1, Hazy Daisy, on the best form.
No, I tend to agree with you. I mean, the way this filly won the Classic, or on Classic Day, should I say, not Classic Day, Guineas Day, the way she won the fillies Guineas, it was like she was thrown in the race at the 200, and it looked like she was only getting better as the race progressed. So she's looking for the 1800, 2000. She's beaten this lot before. She beat all of them before, barring one or 2 in the Guineas. They're all carrying the same weight again. They're all carrying level weights again. There's no reason why anything should change. However, this is my opinion, and it's the way I read the race. This was Little Miss Million. If you go back and have a look at the rerun of this race, this filly got into the world of trouble. I'm not saying that she would have beaten Hazy Daisy, because Hazy Daisy truly won well. But if there was another horse in the race that I would consider, it would be Little Miss Million. But in saying that, if you're looking to go light, ultra light and banker, Hazy Daisy is the right horse in the race. If you're looking to take quartets, exactors, swingers, this horse, Little Miss Million, has got to be some sort of runner, in my opinion. Okay, we then go on to the SA Classic, also another Group 1. This is the second leg of the Triple Crown, where they are betting 3 to 1, number 1, Young Van Goyen. He's drifted from 28 to 10 to 3 to 1. Split the 8s, number 2, has shortened in from 7 to 2 to 33 to 10. Trust is drifted from 33 to 10 to 7 to 2, number 4. They're betting 5-1, number 3, Grand Empire. 6-1, number 8, Errol Flynn. 8-1, number 5, 1-9, Vegas. And then you can write your own ticket about the rest.
Yeah, most of these horses have got very similar form. That split the eights form line when he won last time. I mean, Grand Empire was slow out and only got beaten 0.6 of a length. Trust had some issues in the running. He only got beaten 0.9 lengths. 1-Iron Vegas was drawn shockingly bad, drawn 13 out of 13, now drawn 7. These horses are very close to one another. And for that reason, I'm leaning towards number 1, Jan van Goyen. I don't know why he's drifting out. I just think he's got the strongest form. I know last time was a poor run in Cape Town, but before that was solid form. Split the eights. I played golf with Raymond Danielson, and he says this horse is a top horse. He thinks it's the best horse he's ridden. It's an easy horse to ride, and it will definitely stay the distance. So I'm gonna go with him and believe his input. So I'm gonna include number 1, Jan van Goyen. Number 2, Split the Eight. Now I'm looking for the third horse. I'm gonna put in number 4, Trust, just because he's got a good draw. Had some issues last time in the running. So I'm going 1, 2, and 4.
Yeah, you know, this was Jan van Goyen. Barring that King's Plate run, he had done nothing wrong. He won the Guineas in Cape Town. He did it all right by 2 3/4 lengths. I don't know what went on in the King's Plate. He finished third from last. And interesting enough, Mark de Kock sent him back to Joburg straight away. So he's travelled, but he's had the time, obviously, to overcome the travelling. He's done nothing wrong. But I mean, wouldn't it be nice for a guy like Jason Maragasa to have a Group 1 winner? The man puts absolute atom bombs into the game. He puts a lot of money into the game. He's never had a Group 1 winner, I believe. And I think he's got a good one here. So for me, I'm only including 2 horses. I'm including, in my own personal terms, I'm including Jan van Goyen and Split the Eights. I can't see any of them troubling these 2. That's in my opinion.
Just to don't forget number 8, Errol Flynn.
Yeah.
I know he needs to improve a lot to take on these guns, but his last one was unbelievable. He came last, and it wasn't a fast run race. And the fact that he was still able to catch him easy. And Joey Soma's got an unbelievable record in this race. All these races of the Triple Crown. I've always believed he's got one of the best eyes in picking a juvenile. So Joey Soma, if I had to go send a horse and buy unraced horse, Joey Soma would definitely be on my list.
Yeah, you know, this horse comes with a great reputation. I know that they fancied it to kill last time out, but just he's never, in my opinion, he's got to prove himself. He's never run against this type of class. So hence the fact I'm saying that he has got a huge reputation, and the only reason why I am omitting him is because horses like Jan van Goyen, Split the Eights, Grand Empire, Trust, they've run in Group 1s, Group 2s, and they've proven themselves in this class. So I'm going to pass Errol Flynn by, although I know that he has a huge reputation. I was chatting to Joey about 3 weeks ago, and Joey was telling me that this is a proper racehorse. So he's got to prove it, and there's no better way to prove it than in the Classic on Saturday. We then move to race 8 here, also another great race. They're betting 16 to 10, number 2, See It Again. They're betting 19 to 10, The Real Prince. 7 to 1, number 1, Main Defender. 9 to 1, number 4, Atticus Finch. There's been a little bit of money for Fire Attack. They've backed it in from 11 to 1 to 10 to 1. And 10 to 1, number 9, Tin Pan Alley. 25 to 1, and better the rest. Okay, this is a very, very, very strong race, Pierre.
Yeah, look, the two horses that stand out. A horse to mention is Main Defender. He got beaten 7 lengths last time after a long break. It's hard to fancy him or put him in your play. So I'm going to ignore Main Defender for now until he finds form. So the two horses that stand out is See It Again and the Real Prince. You've seen they've often run against one another and often finish right on top of one another. See It Again, in my opinion, is not exactly at his best over 1600. But if there's a bit of rain and the track's a bit sticky, Turfentine, you can get away with the 1600. But I'm going to lean towards the Real Prince. I just think that, he came from behind See It Again last time. And, okay, he's only drawn one on the inside of See It Again. I just think the winner should come out of those two. Even both of them have been performing over further. Maybe the safest would be to include both and knowing that they're going to run to their form. Another horse that I saw that's a huge prize. And if you look at his form, he's finished behind all his top horses, not far off them. Now, if you look at his 3 runs in Cape Town, Kenilworth, he was drawn 10 out of 13, got beaten 2.9 lengths behind Dave the King. His next start, 1600 meters, drawn 14 out of 14, got beaten 3.4 lengths behind the Real Prince. Last time out, it was always going to be a bit risky, the distance of 2,000 meters. He got beaten 10 lengths. So if you ignore all those runs, all of a sudden, over 1600, back to Turfentine at, I think it's 25 to 1. That's nice value to include in your play. But I'm going to include See It Again and the Real Prince as my 2 horses. And then you must decide if you want to maybe include number 5, Cosmic Speed.
Yeah, listen, I mean, this is a great race. I mean, who can forget it? I mean, who can forget, okay, Harry Oppenheimer and Bridget Oppenheimer, the doyens of racing in the 80s and the 90s and the 70s. Great race. There's some great horses in the race. We've got the Met winner, the World Sports Betting Met winner against the Hollywood Bets Durban July winner in the race, racing at Turfentine. I don't know when last we've seen that, Pierre, as a match race. It could actually be billed as a match race at Turfentine. This horse, Main Defender, he's done nothing wrong. He loves the mile, Pierre. My problem, and this is the way I read it, is that he's had a rush prep. They brought him out over 1160, way short of his best distance. But we always know that champions can win anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000, 2,500 meters. So my only concern is that he's had a rush prep. He ran a couple of weeks ago. He's now at his 2nd run after a rest. I'm a great believer of it. A lot of people aren't. So if these horses haven't acclimatized, being See It Again and the Real Prince, I like your thinking with Cosmic Speed, but I also like this horse Fire Attack. He went to the King's Plate in Cape Town. He ran exactly stone last, but he came back to Turfentine a month later, 5 weeks later, and he won a very good race. So I'm including, I'm going to include Cosmic Speed, purely because, okay, you give it a bit of a chance, but I'm including this horse Fire Attack as well. So we then move on to the last leg of the pick 6, where they are betting another open race, 11 to 2, number 13, Green Diamond. 6 to 1, number 3, Taxi to the Moon. This horse has drifted from 5 to 1 to 6 to 1. 13 to 2, number 6, Constellation. From 7 to 1 to 8 to 1, Truth, number 2. From 10 to 1 to 8 to 1 is number 7, Mount Pinatuba, got the draw. 7 to 1 to 9 to 1, William Robertson. And 10 to 1, number 10, Whistle the Tune.
Yeah, this to me is the hardest race on the card. If you like Taxi to the Moon, then Mount Pinatuba could be a nice bet, because it's way better off at the weights, and it was his first run after a good couple of months break. But in saying that, there are a number of horses here that are well weighted. It's not a handicap. So the best weighted horse is Whistle the Tune, got a good draw as well. Green Diamond, good draw as well. So I would include many horses in this race. Then I found my value in this race, and that's number 6, Constellation. Also drawn well. A 3-year-old can only improve. Before its last start, ran in Cape Town in a feature race, and before that won 2 in a row. The fact that Mark de Kock has nominated a 3-year-old against the best sprinters, or most of the best sprinters in the country, means a lot. So you must include a lot of horses here in the PA. I'll maybe put in 2 Truth, the 6 Constellation, the 7 Mount Pinatubo, and then choose between Whistle the Tune or Green Diamond. I mean, you don't want to put too many horses in. Maybe go with Green Diamond. She's a 3-year-old. More scope for improvement.
Yeah, I'm going to give our viewers an absolute loon in the race. This horse, Rafa Bay, he's done nothing wrong over course and distance. He's had 3 wins over the distance, course and distance, 2 wins, 2 runs, a win and a second. Got the draw, got 50 kilos. As you say, as many horses as you can afford, you need to put in. I'm going wide, but the 2 horses that I like in the race is Whistle the Tune, got the draw. There's been 4 winners from that Miamu form line. And this horse, Rafa Bay. Obviously, I'm including more like Mount Pinatuba, Constellation, and even Truth. But a very, very hard race. I mean, this horse, Taxi to the Moon, he beat an okay field last time. William Robertson was in that race, by the way. No, it wasn't. Sorry. Okay, that was another race. But Taxi to the Moon won a nice race the other day, and very, very hard race. Very, very hard. Even a horse like Ziyesha, Raymond Danielson, gets on well with this horse. The only thing against this horse is that he's drawn on the wrong side. So I believe that we need to include as much as possible, as many as possible in the race. Yeah, all in all, I think it's going to be a great day's racing on Saturday. I think the exotics are going to pay an absolute fortune. It's just the way that we structure our bets. Obviously, our punters wait for you to put up your bar pots, PAs, and pick sixes. I just want to remind them again that, and I stress that this is a skeleton that Pierre works out. if you feel that you need to add in certain legs, go ahead and add, because if you catch the exotics on Saturday, it's going to pay big money on Saturday.
Yeah, and then don't forget there are 12 races, so more bets to go on. Race 10, number 2, Precocious. She looks like she should be a huge runner as well. I mean, she has won the last 3 in a row and all with ease.
Yeah, Pierre. So I know that this horse Precocious is highly thought of by the yard and by the owners. This horse came from Cape Town. She's done absolutely nothing wrong. She's won 3. Actually, she's won 3 on the bounce in Joburg. She was battling in Cape Town, but if you have a look at that last run in Cape Town, where she actually run 8 lengths to Wishlist, who we all know actually won the Derby on Saturday, this past Saturday at Kenilworth, where Justin, our guest last week, Justin Snaith, tipped it to our punters. So she's done absolutely nothing wrong. I might add that there is a second jackpot on the day. It's second buy pot on the day. Apologies. We're not going through the second buy pot. But if the guys are playing a second buy pot that starts in race 7, I would bank it Precocious. And she's a nice price, Pierre. She's 15 at 10 at the moment. There's been a little bit of money for number 5, Magnoletti. They backed her from 3-1 to 26 to 10. But this horse Precocious has done absolutely nothing wrong.
Yeah, and that's part of the second bar pot. And so you could actually bank it at Precocious. And then in the next leg, race 11, I think if you include the 2 Quetta and Hong Kong, who's drawn 1 over 1400, which is a vital, great draw, that those 2 should get you through for the next leg. And then race 12 is how can I say, it looks like a very difficult a race, but lean towards the draws again as 1400.
Yeah, I agree with you. A little bit more open than the others, Pierre.
Yes.
So you need to lean against the draws, perhaps. If I can ask you, Pierre, when you put up your selections, Bipot, PA, Pick 6, if maybe you'll do a second Bipot for our punters, because they rely on you heavily, Mr. Stradom. Our punters. I've been getting a lot of calls saying how great your tipping has been. You've been spot on, but they don't tell me, how well I did on Saturday, because I napped, Princess of Gaul. When I said that on the show, I just had a look at Justin Snaith's face, and it said it all. Like, are you mad?
Yeah.
But in all due respect, the filly won well. She is a top filly. And I think she's going to go on to bigger and better things.
Yeah. No, well done. I just hope the punters win money, because this is what it's all about.
Absolutely. We want the punters to win money. That's why we do these shows. It's not us tipping and hoping that these horses get beat. We actually want the punters to structure around your bets in the exotics. And if you really, really fancy something strong on the day, we actually want the punters to have a bet on the nose to make money out of racing. I just believe, and I think I've told you this a million times, and a lot of people that know me, we need to give the punters as much ammunition as possible, because this game is not easy, Pierre. I mean, you've been in the saddle for the last 150 years. You know more than anything else, what it takes to actually get a horse to the race course. Never mind winning a race. So for us, we want to give the punters as much ammunition as possible to win money out the game, so that we can keep this game going and keep this game alive. Because horse racing, for me, I've been in it all my life. I used to go to the stables with the late Philip Mazam and the late George Mazam. I grew up in racing, and I'm a racing purist, as you know, and as whoever knows me knows. And I just want to see this game flourish. And I just want to see it getting better and better. So we need all of us collectively, okay, to make sure that there's only one way this game can flourish. And that's if we give the punters as much information as possible to make informed decisions, whether it be exotic bets, whether it be bets on the nose. More importantly, they need to know what's going on.
Yes.
Pierre, thank you so much for your time. We have overrun it a little bit, but it's a nice day on Saturday. There's some great racing, and I hope our punters, as you've said, and I second it, I hope our punters win loads and loads of cash on Saturday, and happy punting.
Happy punting.
All the best, guys.